everybody, it's me, it's Tamara. I just want to take a few minutes. It's going to be short, but I just want to take a few minutes and wrap up this week's classes and just kind of go over just a few things, a few notes. But we're talking about lessons 7 and 8, what we just completed this week. So, love does not keep record of wrongs, and love is not easily angered or offended, and basically to just let it go and forgive. And when I was doing this study, even when I wrote this, a year and a half or so ago, when I was writing this, talking about the forgiveness, that's a hard one. And I know it was for me, and I had to go back and start thinking of some things that I didn't want to think about. I had to deal with some people uh, I didn't want to think about. I just wanted it to be forgotten and just let it go. But I hadn't forgiven. I just forgot about it. It was in the back of my brain because it happened, whatever it is, an offense, malicious intent, whatever. And I just wanted to forget about it. I didn't want to think about it because then I'd get angry all over again. You know what I'm talking about. Well, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to let it go. And then I began to think, well, if I let it go, that means that they get off scot free. And that's just not fair because, I thought I didn't deserve that. I mean, I might not have been perfect, but I didn't deserve that to happen to me. I didn't deserve to be spoken to in that way. I should have never been called names. I didn't call anybody names. I may have gotten angry, raised my voice, but calling people names, I never did that. And that happened to me. And I know it's happened to many of you. It happens all the time. And it's so hurtful. And then people got the nerve to come back and say, well, I didn't mean it. I just said it in the heat of the moment. Well, here's the thing, words never go away. I remember somebody that I was very close to many, many years ago said to me that my life was why was I here? Why was I even breathing? I'm taking up space just by being here because my life was pointless and had no purpose or anything. I was just taking up space. And I was devastated, and that stayed with me for years. I mean, years. And I carried it with me through through my marriage. I carried it with me, and in everything I did, it was like almost a curse upon me, and it was horrible. And I lived with that for years. And they were words. He never hit me or anything like that, but those words were worse. I almost wish that he had hit me because that would have gone away. But the words, they're piercing and they're hurtful. So when I came back and I confronted him with it, he was shocked that I still remember that because he had forgotten. He had forgotten. I hadn't. It was said to me. It affected my life. It affected everything that I did. And he was so cavalier about it. And you know why? Because it was so mean. He couldn't believe that he could say such a mean thing. Sure, we were young, but he said something so mean and it affected my life deeply. Did he ever apologize? No, because he was arrogant and that's not what he did. But I had to forgive him for my sake because every time I thought about it, it affected everything that I did. It it kind of moved its way, it weaved its way into how I treated people. That was one of the things that caused me to be a certain way with people. And in my interaction and how I worked or how I just seemed to always be so underachieved because of that. And when I was young, I always felt that I was smart. I always felt that I was creative and talented in certain things. But that kept on me for years that I began to believe that lie. And and that wasn't really him. That was the enemy in him or using him to get to me, to keep me down, to keep me from progressing, to keep me from ever finding or reaching what great things that the Lord had for me, and used him to get to me. And he did. And it hurt me for years. When I say years, I'm talking years, over 20, 30 years. And so you can imagine the kinds of stuff that, that how it affected me and everything in school, in college, in my marriage, my second marriage, my in my job, in friendships, and everything, how I was as a person, how I was with everything. And so I had to learn to forgive. And this only happened with, I don't know, like 5 years ago that I began to do the work to forgive. And it was for my sake, because I had such anxiety and I had such depression in certain things over it. I wasn't a depressed person, but there was there was a sense of depression in it, and it held me down. So there was oppression and such self-loathing, and I could never be enough. I never could be thin enough. Don't get me started. I could never be thin enough. I wasn't pretty enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't funny enough. I just was never enough, because that's what that statement said to me, that I was never enough. So I had to figure out a way of forgiving him for my sake, because my health, it affects your health. It affects your spirit, it affects your mental state, it affects you in so many areas. So I found that I was easily offended. I found that as time went on, I would be offended by the slightest thing. And like I said before, I'm not a crier, but I would show my feelings through anger or holding back. Oh, and I did that a lot. I would hold back. I just didn't give enough of myself because I was holding back. I was protecting myself. I protected myself as best as I could because I felt nobody else was protecting me, so I have to do it. My faith in God was just not nearly strong enough to believe that he had my back. I just didn't feel that at all. So in the process of learning to forgive, I had to realize that God always had my back, and I just didn't reach out to him. And so I went through the process of forgiving. I saw where I used to get offended all the time, and I never thought that I really did. And my feelings were hurt constantly, but I didn't think that I did. I used to say, my feelings don't get hurt. I'm fine. I'm strong. I don't get offended. My feelings don't get hurt. I'm strong. I'm not weak. I'm not passive. I'm not, I'm not like that. But I was hurt. I was offended. I just showed it differently. And then when the Lord began to break me down and I began to cry all the time, then he showed me these areas. He showed me the offense again. He showed me what was said to me and how that hurt me. So what I'm saying to you is we have to find a way to have peace in our life. We have to learn to forgive, and if we have to, we'll forgive again and again and again because we have to. And so the thing is that when we don't forgive and we hold on to the offense and so forth, it rots our spirit. It messes up our mind, and it blocks any kind of a blessing that the Lord has for us because we're stuck on it. We're stuck on the past. We can't move forward. Something that happened to us in second and third grade, we're still holding on to that. And here we are, much older, and we're still holding on to that. We can't do that. We have to let it go. We have to forgive that person, even if they're not here anymore. We have to forgive them for ourselves. We have to forgive them because where they're coming from, we don't know where it's coming from. That's not our job. We just have to forgive and let it go and let God deal with it. If they're gone, if they're no longer here, you still have to forgive for yourself. You got to let it go. Otherwise, that's just garbage that's just built up and built up and built up. And it comes out. The garbage is going to go somewhere. So it's going to come out here, out of your mouth. It's just, or your actions. And you're going to be hurting other people because, like I said before, hurt people. And you don't want to be part of that. So we have to find a way to be proactive in peace and having peace for ourselves and forgiveness and not being so quick to be offended, and make sure that we shut our mouth, that we zip our lips, and we don't say anything to hurt anybody, and be on the other side of that. But we are. But anyway, so that's what these classes were about, and I hope that this is helping many of you. I hope it is, and I encourage you that if it feels like if you like this, go ahead and pass it on to somebody else. Let them know. I have the YouTube channel. Just take a look, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing these classes and various things because the Lord has really shown me this is where we get stuck. Before we can even move into other parts of our life, we have to set this foundation. So we're going to be working on the foundation. And that is the next part is going to be the fruits of the Spirit, which is character refinement. So that's a big one. And anyway, so we did this study on love. That's what this is, which is one of the fruits of the Holy Spirit. But we studied love. There's so much more to knowing what is love. There's so much more. But this is just my take on it from my own journey, from my walk, but there's so much more. But anyway, then in the next part is going to be more of the fruits of the Holy Spirit. Love was just the first one, the main one, the big one, the one that sets it all up. So anyway, I hope you're getting a lot out of this. I pray that you are, and the Holy Spirit is all over this. And so I thank you. I thank you for taking the time to do this, and I hope that you are taking the time with the Holy Spirit and writing down your notes and answering questions and so forth if you're taking the class. If not, and you're just enjoying the videos, that's cool too. Either way, I appreciate you. So anyway, it is kind of a gloomy day over here in the Northwest. That's why I'm wearing a winter sweater. Anyway, I hope you have a blessed day. And so the next one will be lesson number 9. So anyway, have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next time. All right. God bless you. Bye-bye.